hemp, which is legal, marijuana, which is not.
Correct.
Where does CBD fit into this?
So again, in layman's term, I'm going to break it down. This is maybe not the ideal way to say it, but everybody can visualize a strand of DNA, right? So the little double helix, and each rung of that strand does something, right? Inside of a cannabis plant, cannabinoids are very similar to that. They're somewhere between 100 and 180. Of course, the more money that's able to be applied to research, the more they can research how many there are out there. One of those cannabinoids is CBD. One of those cannabinoids is THC. One of those cannabinoids is CBN. One of those cannabinoids is CBG. One of those cannabinoids is THCV. So, but each one of those, very similar to the rungs of the DNA, does something different. And as they're studied, they can be used in more concentrations in oils like we manufacture with Omni Oil.
So, CBD it has different properties than THC, but it comes from the same source.
Very much.
They're just derived differently and when you intake them into your body, there's different effects.
And that is where the misconception in hemp and marijuana is so much, right? You don't need, I'm probably older than y'all, right? I'm 46, okay? So when I smoked weed... Yeah, you're a liar. So when I smoked weed as a kid, we're just going to be honest here, right? Because that's part of this conversation. When I smoked weed as a kid, the weed that we were smoking was called brick weed or dirt weed or whatever you were smoking, and it probably had a THC content of somewhere between 12 and 15%. When you go to a state like Colorado, or you even come to me and you look for hemp products that are in the THC variety, you're looking at things that are 25 to 26% THC. That's where the debate comes between what is medicinal and what is recreational, right? From a medicinal standpoint, CBD has a lot of the same benefits of THC, with the exception of some of the pain component. You really need THC for pain management. But CBD is, yes, a lot of all of the good without the high is really what you can, and we can do proprietary blends just like you do in vitamins, where you combine things together to make different compounds of CBD that you work on things like inflammation, that work on things like as a pre-workout. Hey, I want to use things. I actually just talked to a mom the other day. I'm going to say this. People get real panties in their wad about this. I talked to a mom the other day that said, I really want to talk to you about like CBD for my kid, like before I put him on Adderall. And I said, let's have that conversation. If you've ever done a lookup on Adderall, it's like one molecule off of like methamphetamine, y'all. Mm-hmm. So when we're talking about 5 and 6-year-olds, I would love to talk to a mom about the benefits of CBD. We're not talking THC for her 6-year-old, but why wouldn't we be talking about a plant that grows out of the ground, that is organically extracted and is in something like our oil that is 5 ingredients or less?
Yeah, that's something else I wanted to ask you about. Well, let me confirm this first. Mm-hmm. The legalities are around the cannabinoids themselves. Mm-hmm. So CBD legal, THC not.
Everything but Delta 9. So
Everything
remember
that.
So like we carry concentrates of Delta 8. Okay, Delta 8 gets a bad rap on the market because it's so unregulated. You can go down to a vape shop on the corner. You can actually go to your gas station and you can find a Delta 8 gummy on the gas station shelf.
Delta 8 is a cannabinoid.
Yeah,
it's like everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So Delta 8 and Delta 9 are both cannabinoids, right? Both intoxicants, both THC. Delta 9 THC, Delta 8 THC. The legislature only picked on 9.
Why?
Because that's what's in marijuana. Because they were, I'm not going to say politically one way or the other because I sit very much in the middle, right? I own a small business, so I'm very much for my money, right? But don't get in my business, right? Yeah. From a legal standpoint, they just were uninformed when they made a very conservative decision. We don't want marijuana, right? Or you're a conspiracy theorist and they were very, very informed, and the Texas farmer leaned on them very heavily to keep the money in Texas, keep it where the hemp farmer, where we can control it. And they kind of leaned it that way. Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah. So Delta 8 though.
So Delta 8 and Delta 9, I know I get my ADHD gets like off there and I have to, so that Delta 9 got picked on by them, right? But Delta 8 is almost an identical cannabinoid, right? It's almost an identical cannabinoid. This one actually has a little bit more of a relaxant effect, but you can go to the vape shop and it's everywhere. This one can come from China on a slow ship and it costs 27 cents to make somewhere, right?
Right.
And it's being sold at your gas station and you have no idea. I'm not taking my grandmother to take that gummy when she wants to talk to me about, hey, my doctor said I should use a THC product for the arthritis in my hip, right? I can't say she had arthritis. She told me she had arthritis.
I understand.
The Delta 8 is the same thing. They can both, but right now you can find a Delta 8 3,000 milligrams on the market, you will be in the ER. You will not like life. Totally legal in the state of Texas.
Delta 9 would have the same effect.
Correct. But that's illegal.
But that one's illegal.
That one's illegal.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know enough about the science to say we didn't want intoxicating cannabinoids.
So
Yeah, the whole Delta 8. I'm sorry to cut
No,
you
no,
off,
no,
but I dabbled a little bit, you know, and so I did kind of go down these different rabbit holes of like different types of THC and CBD and things like that. And I thought the CBD to like Delta 8 like jump was insane. It's in like CBD didn't really do much. It was more like a body high, more relaxing. And then with like Delta 8, 9, 10, or Delta 8, 10,
the
all
10s,
these
you're
other
right,
different
11s,
ones,
yes.
yeah, kind of hopping around. They just kind of hit the streets, and it was everywhere so
And-
fast.
And that is so true. And because I've got a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old. So I'm also living it from a high school parent standpoint, right? What's available on the street as a pothead, right? I mean, something's going to happen. They're going to get their hands on it somewhere, right? Exactly what he said. The jump from what our oil company started making, which is, hey, give this to your dog. Give this to your grandmother. It's like a multivitamin. You can get it on Amazon. That is what I think the legislature intended to be legal. But the lawyers and the farmers were smarter than them. So what got released is the things that he's talking about. These very, very intense, unregulated things that are in vapes, things that are in gummies, and in very intense concentrations. When you come and see us, when we talk to you about a gummy, the people that work for me, we talk to you about, hey, you should eat 1/4 of this gummy.
yeah, because the dosage matters.
Well, the dosage and the quality matters. Like we make a vegan-based gummy. If you get 25 milligrams of a vegan-based gummy, that's a lot if you're a newbie. You damn sure don't need 250 milligrams. You're really going to be you're very going to be uncomfortable. You're not going to die.
It's not going to feel good.
No, you are going to feel like you want to die.
Okay.
yeah, edibles are like a totally different
They are.
like high than if you're just smoking.
Very different. Very, very, very different. Because when you smoke...